Welcome to RelyLocal Frederick Business Radio Spotlight. For the next 30 minutes, you will hear fast-paced interviews, unique perspectives, and valuable insight from real people who believe that empowering local business is everybody's business. This show is about the backbone of America, small businesses right here in and around the communities where we live, work, and play. And now, your host, Caressa Flannery, brings you RelyLocal Frederick's Business Radio Spotlight.
Hello, this is Caressa Flannery, the host of the RelyLocal Business Spotlight. And I'm sure a lot of folks out there are wondering, what is RelyLocal? A healthy community depends on a healthy economy, and both completely depend on the local businesses in the Frederick community. Simply put, more money spent with local businesses stays here, about 68%, where much less money spent with national chains stays in the area, only about 14%. And money we spend online, well, that simply leaves us forever. To us at RelyLocal, supporting local businesses doesn't stop with the economy. It is all about creating a stable and vibrant community. Frederick businesses create jobs, the tax revenue for schools and parks and roads, while offering diversity in the marketplace with the unique products and services not found in big box stores or chain restaurants. And not to mention, these local businesses are owned by the very people who sponsor our Little Leagues. They donate to our local charities and volunteer for community events, as well as sponsor community events. They give back to the community in countless ways. You rely on them, but can they rely on you? And did you know that every dollar you spend with a Frederick business stimulates our local economy? That's right. You don't have to break the piggy bank to support local businesses. Refocusing just $20 of your current spending toward local businesses instead of online, national, or big box merchants can have a major impact in our community. And folks, today we are talking with a local real estate business, and I have with me Jerry Coates and Jennifer Wang of the Landmark Group at Real Estate Team. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having us here, Caressa.
Thank you. It is my pleasure, and we are going to be talking everything real estate today for the next 30 minutes. How exciting, right? Your favorite topic.
Yes. Very definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we want to do to start off is we want you to tell us a little bit about how you both got started in real estate and about, I believe that there was a return to the field, so to speak, for the both of you, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
In my case, I got into real estate just by guts. In realizing that getting into real estate, you're an independent contractor and truly a local business, as you're supporting with this organization, and you don't get paid until you get a transaction. Mm-hmm. So starting out in real estate is always a bit scary. And for me, I'd been a public school teacher, and then I was fortunate enough to get a gig doing a television series for educational television. And through that production, I was assured I'd get residuals for several years from that TV series being distributed around to various parts of the country. So that gave me a lot of courage to think, now's the time. If you really think you can do real estate and would like to try it now while you've got some income already guaranteed. Right. As it turns out, I never got any residuals at all. But I was
pedal to the metal, right?
I was, mediocrely at least successful in real estate to begin with, and made it. Yes. And still love it to this day.
And you are a well-known name in Frederick, so it's wonderful to kind of hear your name out there again. So it's
it pleases me as well.
Very good, very good. And what about you, Jennifer? You are
Yes.
Jerry's daughter, correct?
Yes, I'm Jerry's daughter. I went to college, West Virginia Wesleyan, and then I was out in college with my ex-husband for a few years. But then we both relocated back to Frederick, and I did an internship with my father. As a business major, I was very interested in accounting and multifamily investment real estate. I specialized in historic preservation. So for a few years, I managed the renovation of a 13-unit apartment complex on West 4th Street, and worked for several of Jerry's clients as a licensed assistant. Several of them were also selling their investment properties and their downtown historic properties. So preservation was center focus for me. And
what better place to be for historic properties than in downtown Frederick?
So that was a wonderful project.
Yeah, that's great. And so now the two of you have joined forces, basically.
Yes.
And you formed the Landmark Group. So tell us a little bit about this association and what the name represents, because I think there's a little story behind that, isn't there?
Yes.
Well, the Landmark Group, to me, I think the name sort of focuses on the essence of real estate. I think people often forget that real estate is actually either the ownership or the use of a specific spot on the face of the earth, on the planet itself. And I like to think of that as being a landmark for the person who does use a specific spot on the face of the earth. That's their spot. That's their landmark for either living or working or playing or whatever they do there.
Planting their seed and
Exactly. And so I think that name sort of condenses the essence of the importance of the real estate business, and that we're helping people to get a landmark or enjoy their landmark.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I love the name. I think it's great. And when Jennifer told me about it, I was like, yeah, that fits. It really does, especially with the everything that you all are bringing to the table.
Well, in my case, I'd been very instrumental in helping to organize the Landmarks Foundation for Frederick County back years ago.
Yes.
So that brings back a historical connection for me.
Now, Jerry, did you mention how many years you've been in real estate?
I didn't mention, but
are we trying to keep that a secret?
On the way to be with you this morning, Jennifer and I were discussing that. And I said, 35 years. She said, Dad, I think it's maybe more than that. So
over 40.
I
think we're
that's
over
a long
40
time.
But as they say, when you're having fun.
You are a landmark yourself in
That
Frederick,
is right.
aren't you? Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, anybody, I grew up in Frederick, so anybody who's been in this area for any length of time, I think, has heard your name, as far as,
and most often favorably.
Absolutely. I've never heard anything beyond that, so that's wonderful. So, okay, so we've got the Landmark Group. You guys are, digging your heels in, and you're getting back in the swing of things as far as real estate's concerned. So, Jerry, with your extensive track record in real estate, and Jennifer now back, what do you feel the two of you are providing, and that helps you stand out in the community and in the real estate industry itself?
Great, good question. I think because of our being, back to the name again, the Landmark Group, we're between the two of us, we're focusing as a group in real estate in Frederick. Me being an experienced broker, I'm the associate broker with the organization. So my years of experience, I think, are the foundation for the nucleus of our group. Right. And then Jennifer brings, through her youth and experience, a lot of vitality that I think is going to be important for real estate transactions today.
Great.
And especially because of your knowledge with the internet, especially, she's more versed
savvy
in that.
And versed on
very
that,
much so. Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting ready to go to a break, our first break already. Can you believe it? But we're going to talk a little bit more about this particular subject and the fact that you all have this client-first philosophy. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So, folks, from Gettysburg to Brunswick and Hagerstown to Mount Airy, may this source be with you. This is Caressa Flannery. We'll be right back.
Is your computer slow? Then it should be going to Tech Junkies. Tech Junkies will diagnose the issues and transform your system into a top-performing pro, and they can custom build you an entirely new one. Ask Tech Junkies about their remote services. They can take over your system and do all the cleanups, defrags, and other diagnostics to save you time. And their talented website design staff can create a beautiful site for your personal or business use. Check them out at techjunkies.com. That's TECjunkies.com. We left out the H because we left out the hype. Or call 240-288-8126.
It's not easy being a veteran.
Coming back from Iraq or Afghanistan, I had been so excited to come home.
But it's harder than I thought.
Join us at communityofveterans.org
and connect to others who are going through the same thing.
Brought to you by Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you wondering how you are going to put dinner on the table tonight? If the answer is yes, then wonder no more. Northern Frederick has the answer. The Thurmont Food Bank. In just 1 month, they were able to help 1,164 people. If you need groceries or other everyday essentials, just stop by the Thermont Food Bank on Tuesdays from 5 to 7:30 p.m. and Fridays 2:30 to 5 p.m. Or if you're wondering how you can help, it's simple. The Thermont Food Bank welcomes donations, whether it be food, money, or your time. Whether you are volunteering, dropping off donations, or picking them up. Stop by the Thermont Food Bank at St. John's Lutheran Church in downtown Thermont today.
This is Caressa Flannery. We are back with the Rely Local Business Spotlight. And before we get back into the thick of things here with Jennifer and Jerry, I just want to let you know that Rely Local is actually on Facebook under Rely Local Frederick. And my guests here in the studio today, Jennifer and Jerry, a part of the Landmark Group at Real Estate Teams. They also have a Facebook page, and we would love it if you would become fans. You can follow all the great things that they are doing in the community as far as real estate, and if you need their services, you can certainly get in touch. So we are back with Jennifer Wang and Jerry Coates of the Landmark Group at Real Estate Teams. And Jerry, we were chatting just briefly about what you all bring to the table and how you stand out in the community, but I want to get a little feel for this client first philosophy that you all bring. So you want to share a little bit of thoughts?
Well, sure. Well, in particular, I've had a lot of experience in both investment real estate and just residential real estate, and it's more important, I think, thinking about the client philosophy or the importance of your client in the residential market in particular, because it usually focuses each transaction as in a residential situation usually focuses on some kind of a life-changing experience in your client's life.
Oh, yeah.
Either they've gotten married, or they had a divorce, or they had 3 more children, or somebody died.
You're right. Real estate does play a big part in that.
Very much so.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
For the residential side, the most important thing about the transaction of buying a house or selling a house is the fact that it's changing something in your client's life. Mm-hmm. So we always try to keep focused on that.
Right. And it can be a stressful and daunting time, but in general, having knowing that ahead of time, I would think that you all would make the process so much easier and more, let it go more smoothly.
I have often thought we could be called marriage counselors during many of these transactions.
I bet you probably have done that a bit in the past.
To help people avoid a divorce just because they're selling their house is an important
you probably get people crying
for a realtor. Yes.
Crying because they're happy, it's their new house, or crying because they're leaving a house. Yeah, I can imagine. Right. Yeah, you've probably been through so much in all the years that you've been.
But that's part of the great pleasure of being in the real estate business. You've got to enjoy the fact that you're really working with people.
Yes.
Even though you're getting the landmark for them.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It's primarily your client's interest that you're dealing with.
Absolutely. And you have to be a people-oriented person in order to deal with real estate transactions, I feel. Because of what you just stated, people are in an emotional state, whether positive or negative, in most cases when they're dealing with real estate, and it can be stressful, and it's good that you bring that to the table. So you all have some niches and some areas that you specialize in. I mean, yes, you can handle buyers, sellers, residential, commercial transactions, but you bring some specific niches. Do you want to share a little bit about those particular things?
Well, yeah, I'll start there first because, my personal experience has been so much circling around historic properties and preservation and restoration in real estate.
And of course, Jennifer has that background there too. So,
yeah. So that's been one of my focuses. And then having been the Sotheby representative for the surrounding counties for several years, I got a lot of good connections for upper end properties.
So luxury homes
and yes, has also been a focus for years, which I do enjoy as well. Even though I know currently working with a couple of clients, one sale and one purchase that are under $100,000. That's hardly luxury homes,
right?
But those clients get the same good service from
Mm-hmm.
us.
I would think, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, what someone's purchasing, but you tend to lean towards, in a lot of ways, I mean, not lean like, you pick and choose, but you tend to get people coming to you, and you have in the past, that are more going towards the luxury homes and the higher dollar, higher priced homes and things like that. So you've done very well for yourself then, huh?
Well, it's been a lot of fun.
I bet. That's great. And then also you all deal a little bit with the multifamily units and apartment buildings, things like that, investment properties. Did you want to speak on that, Jennifer?
I think one of the things that my father has that drew me back after college to want to work with him and learn from him is his extensive knowledge in small business and in investment real estate, and how he can find, I've seen at least 6 different ways that he can have real estate development, if you will call it, in historic properties. So it's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to study under him and see so many ways that people can utilize real estate in changing economic times.
Absolutely.
He's amazing with his creativity, and he can give several examples, I'm sure, of how he does these.
Well, I think it's been a lot, especially with some of the preservation of real estate, historic properties, is to find adaptive reuses for them, and ways to make them viable in today's economic world.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun to make sure you've done that.
So in historic preservation, you've actually helped people take like a rundown property and purchase it and convert it into rehab it, I guess.
Right, and find new life for that property.
Find new life,
and
and make it a new landmark, right?
Well said.
Although it doesn't have to be just the building itself. I've seen Jerry do things like take in what used to be a horse stable and convert it into easements for off-street parking. I've seen him take garages and convert them into condominiums.
Wow.
So that people can have the ownership rights. But he has a wonderful way of converting real estate, and it's not just a structure like a house. He can take other things and find new life and new real estate functions for them that you may not have thought of as possible.
And much of that is just having the idea to help somebody go with it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and that's wonderful that you bring that to the table, so that's great. Okay, so we're getting ready to go to another break, and folks out there, just want to let you know that if you would like to send us any email feedback, questions, or interview suggestions, you can do so at rlf@wthu.org, or you can call us at the station at 301-637-6736. This is Caressa. We'll be right back.
Every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound.
Roddy Creek Automotive has expanded its services. That's right, Roddy Creek Automotive is a full-service auto care center featuring auto repair, preventative maintenance, vehicle diagnostics, tire sales, front-end alignments, car detailing, and even car audio customizations. And now they have added a new service, certified pre-owned vehicles. Check out their great inventory of vehicles online at their website, roddycreekauto.com, to find the right car for you and your family, or stop by and see them at their location on Route 15 at Roddy Creek Road in Thurmont today. Tell Brent you heard about Roddy Creek Automotive right here on AM 1450, The Source. Roddy Creek Automotive, helping you get there.
Image means personality, and businesses, like people, have personalities. The right advertising can make or break you in the marketplace. WTHU Signs has what it takes to help you develop that winning image. WTHU Signs provides high-quality signage, displays, lettering, custom embroidered or screen-printed apparel, and graphics for all your personal, business, and organizational needs. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, WTHU Signs is a full-service signs company offering you the most innovative signage design, production, and superior installation. WTHU Signs will work with you to incorporate your image into the professional branding that tells your unique story.
WTHU Signs is the premier location for all your laser engraving needs. This amazing state-of-the-art technology can create one-of-a-kind trophies, plaques, awards, and gifts, customized to your personal, sports, or professional needs with precision, detail, and accuracy. Just call 301-378-2216 or check out their website at wtchco.com.
I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket.
All right, this is Caressa, and we are back with the RelyLocal Business Spotlight, and we are chatting with Jennifer Wang and Jerry Coates of the Landmark Group at Real Estate Teams, and we were talking all about real estate today, and we were talking about some of the niches that you have with historic preservation and multifamily units and luxury homes and whatnot. But can you maybe give the listeners an idea at this present time? You know, what is the real estate market like right now? Is it a good time to buy or to sell, or what do they need to do to qualify these days? Do you want to share any info?
Well, yes. For a realtor, it's always a good time.
I knew you were going to say that.
For people to buy and sell.
Absolutely.
And that's one of our jobs, actually, is to help people realize where their transaction fits into the marketplace today as compared to the future and the past, et cetera, et cetera. Sure. But I think one of the things that's true today as compared to the past in real estate, as you say, is what does it take to buy a property? People buying residential property in particular, the qualification process is more extensive than in the past. So, we're there to help guide people into that, help them find the right lender for the kind of property that they're wanting to purchase in particular.
Right.
And over the years working with my father, we have been through several ups and downs in the market and several fluctuations with lending. I grew up with my father in real estate, and I felt like I was participating in it since the early 90s, but seeing how the lending industries and the markets have gone up and down has been a wonderful experience to see. This moment that we think is right now is just another up and down over the past 40 years.
I think it's perception a lot, and it's timing for a lot of people because everybody's in different places in their life.
Right. So
it's
so unique to the
it could be a
individual.
good time for someone to buy at any given time, but then like 3-4 years from now, it might not have been a good time for them to buy.
So it's more of the financial picture of the individual, and I think my father has the experience through up markets and down markets to give people the proper guidance.
I know with that many years, 35 plus years, we don't want to say how many years it is, right?
Right.
I mean, gosh, that's really a long time to be in one career field and be so successful. And I mean, you have to have
continue enjoying it each and every year.
Enjoying it, yes, and being around people and loving people still, right?
Absolutely.
As you get older, that's great. Okay, so I do want to make sure that we talk a little bit about the fact that you all have hooked up with Real Estate Teams, which is, I guess they've been around for a while, but they're a fairly new office in terms of the offices, the team offices that are in the Frederick area. So do you want to talk a little bit about how they help your business and how they support your clients and so forth?
Yeah, I'll start out there. I think the important thing about Real Estate Teams and our affiliation with them is we're affiliated with only very successful real estate groups and teams. And as we're talking here today about businesses and local businesses, Real Estate Teams is not affiliated with any of the large national
big
franchise
brands,
or the huge regional organizations where there truly are imposed specific
to local.
Right. There, and we don't have that at Real Estate Teams at all.
Right.
But we've got a great location right in the middle of downtown Frederick, which is good for us and our operation because we do a lot of historic properties.
Yes, well, absolutely.
And over the years, my father had opened, I think, the first Coldwell Banker franchise in Maryland. He had a small business in the 70s and 80s, or was it just the 80s? The Fredericktown Realty originally, Jerry was the broker of.
Yeah,
so he has an extensive history from going from the small business to the large corporate businesses, and I think that's when real estate lost its personal touch, and he decided to go back to the teams concept where for many years we were operating with our sphere of our closest agents, but this made it official that we are now a team. And so we're able to support our sellers and our buyers more effectively with a united front, if you will, our team. So it's what he's been doing for over 35 to 40 years, but it's now officially called a team. And I think they started in 2000. It was when Real Estate Teams became a local office.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're definitely a force in town. So I think it's a great association and affiliation that you have with them. So that's awesome that they help support what you're trying to do in terms of your local business itself. So I know there's possibly some connections that you have with local organizations and associations within the community. I think, I myself am a big proponent of volunteerism and do a lot for local nonprofits and organizations in the community. Do you want to share any of the affiliations that you have with with organizations within the community?
Yeah, with in my case, I've been very closely associated throughout my career with the local Landmarks Foundation, the Historical Society, the Tourism Council, the Arts Council, and I've served on the boards of all those organizations.
Yep.
And still have life memberships in the ones that, Landmarks and Historical Society that have life memberships.
Right.
So I'm still very involved with those organizations. I think, keeping communication between the various groups, they don't necessarily all know each other. So I've been proud to just keep them, socially and business-wise, keep them all informed one with the other as to what the other groups are doing, which helps to each of them, I think.
Yeah, I would think that would be beneficial. I have a little bit of that happening with myself, with some of the things that I'm doing too. So I think that's very helpful, within.
And in my case in particular, I've continued my interest that I've always had in gardening. I'm very active with the Men's Garden Club, where we were helpful in, as you know, the color on the creek, getting the water lilies and all planted in the creek downtown, and that's beautiful.
I know. Love
That's a successful operation.
I know. And Jennifer, you are doing some things as well.
Yes, I volunteer for Parkway Elementary. My daughter is a first grader there this year, and I volunteer for the PTA as well as for the volunteer office.
Okay.
I volunteer for All Saints as a Sunday school teacher, and I'm also volunteering in the streets for Celebrate Frederick.
And you are a mom, so
I'm a mother,
of course you're
local
doing all
mother.
these mom-related cool things, which is great.
With that being said, I also, as I said, when I'm working with my buyers, I'm looking at my clients like a parent and like a mother. So I take it very personal.
Yeah. Well, supporting schools and education, of course, in the Frederick community is very key and important too, especially from a real estate perspective, because people want to know that the schools are good when they move to the area.
And so I'll be leading up several auction baskets and restaurant weeks this year.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap up, but we want to make sure that we give all the pertinent contact information so people know if they want to invest in properties, they want to buy any property, if they want to sell their property, if they're interested in historic, multifamily, whatever, they want to get in touch with Jerry Coates and Jennifer Wang. So let's give them all the info.
Well, we have a website. We have two different websites. One is, of course, jerrycoates.realtor.com. That's been his website for over 20 years. We also now have with the team the landmarkgroup.us. Okay. So that's our team website.
Landmarkgroup.us. So different extension there.
A different extension. US could be United States or could be us. Although we also have our presence in several other places like RelyLocal, Tots to Tweens, the Washingtonian, Frederick News Post.
Do you have a Facebook page?
We have a
Landmark
Facebook
group,
page,
and each of you have
LinkedIn,
your individual pages as well.
Yes.
And what about telephone numbers?
Our main office number is 301-663-1113. And Jerry can be reached at 301-606-1895. And I can be reached at 301-644-2668.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being on the Rely Local Business Spotlight today. We really appreciate all your thoughts and information having to do with real estate.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
And remember, when we have our buyers or sellers, I do offer a free home warranty when you purchase through me. And when Jerry takes listings, he includes a free home warranty with that listing for sale. We want our consumers to have an opportunity to get to know their homes and to not be under the pressure when things go wrong.
Awesome.
It's a 1-year free home warranty.
Well, thank you once again for being here. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned, folks, for our next program. The Bobby Likas Car Clinic is coming up next. This is Caressa Flannery. We will talk to you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Rely Local Frederick's Business Radio Spotlight right here on AM 1450, The Source. Heard Saturdays at 1:30 p.m., Rely Local Frederick's Business Radio Spotlight is a movement, a campaign to take us back to what makes America great. Businesses locally owned and operated by you and your neighbors. Thanks for spending your valuable time today with us.